Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by TBM Sports. On a day like today, we got a lot of things brewing. We have the conclusion to an outstanding 2024-2025 college football season. The national championship game played in Atlanta between the Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Okay, I'm going to give you guys my take. I'm going to share with you guys what I have open in terms of futures, how I'm viewing this game, and some betting nuggets that will hopefully help you win this bet and cash some tickets here on this Monday, as not only do we have the national championship, but we also have the inauguration of Donald Trump's second term and Martin Luther King Day. So a lot of people are off of work. Thanks for taking some time on your free day to watch this video. Enjoy it. Let's go. This is it. This is the national championship game for college football. Super, super excited. And full disclosure, before we get a little too far in this, I have a little bit of a issue within this because pretty much everybody I know are Ohio State fans, and my family and myself, we're back in the blue. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to share with you guys my bets, but before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Also, this will be the last college football video of the season, so make sure you subscribe, turn on notification bell, because we do all other sports, and we will have content leading up till next college football season. So do not lose track of this channel. If you haven't subscribed, if you've rocked with us during the regular season, make sure you all hit that subscribe button and turn on notification bell, okay? So let's get into it. We are going to use Outlier to get down into the picks, and we will pull up the odds board right now, okay? And I want to talk to you guys about kind of what I have going right now, okay? And also, just kind of a little stung. I have to drive 2 hours for work today, through the snow, and I have a lot of family members that are at this game and in attendance. A lot of family members that go to Ohio State right now currently, so this is kind of a little bit of a divide, I should say. Anyways, let's talk about this. First and foremost, for those of you that do watch my stuff and you've been with me, you knew what the futures bet were when they lost to Northern Illinois. We laid some Notre Dame. I think it was up to 50-1 to win the national championship. So whenever I get bonus bets, free bets from these sports books, I always put them on long shots. Don't put bonus bets on 1-to-1 bets. That's just not a good recipe. Take advantage of free maximum value. So yes, I do have, I think, a $25 free bet that I got on Notre Dame at 50-1. Also, we took a lot of action at Notre Dame to make the playoffs, plus 320. We took essentially before the playoffs even started, and I saw the bracket. I was very adamant where I said this is an avenue where Notre Dame will play Ohio State or Texas, and that's exactly what we got. So before that all started, I think that was like around 5-6-1 for that exacta. Also, we took some action with Notre Dame, Ohio State beating Notre Dame plus 235 before the semifinals started against Penn State. And we also gave out the best bet of the whole playoffs, in my opinion, was after Notre Dame beat Penn State that morning on DraftKings. It was minus 110. You could have got Ohio State versus the field. All they had to do was beat Texas and then Notre Dame for a minus 110 bet. Now we look at the odds board right here, and you can see the money line at minus 375 on DraftKings. That's called closing line value. I can lock up Notre Dame money line and guarantee a win in pretty much all of my bets if I do want to lock in profits. However, I do lean with the Buckeyes in this game. All right. Also, kind of interesting. I went easy last night, so we could have a fun little Monday. I had a pretty, maybe a premonition, but I did have a dream, and not just because it's Martin Luther King Day. I'm not trying to be cliche, but I did have a dream. Notre Dame got out to a hot start. They were up 21-10. It was 34-34 at halftime, and Notre Dame won 37-34 on a game-winning field goal. So that's has nothing to do with betting. It's probably my subconscious in some form or fashion rooting against me. I have a significant amount of money on Ohio State today. Okay, I didn't take the 8.5, but throughout the NFL playoffs and the college football playoffs, like I said, we stacked chips, and now it's a pretty big decision for me, probably the largest of the college football season, if not maybe second or third, for just one game having an impact on my bankroll. But what I was doing was pretty much when I saw this opening number, you're either in the ballpark and conversation that Ohio State wins by double digits, or they play a slugfest where we're talking about a 17-14 game like we had in South Bend a couple years ago, where I don't remember the score exactly. Maybe it was 14-10, 13-10. I can't remember. I think it was 14-10 to be exact. Maybe 17-14. It was a 3-point game, low scoring, round 30 or under. So that's kind of what everybody's looking at. Now, we'll talk a little schematics in this game and what actually is relevant. But for me and my money, guys, like I said, I took pretty much all the favorites. I was confident. I took some Chiefs, Ohio State teasers. I took some Washington, Ohio State teasers. I took some Buffalo, Ohio State teasers. That's kind of where I put my chips, okay? Getting that at minus 120, 6-point teaser, getting at that key number of minus 2.5. That's kind of where I was at. So Ohio State by field goal is what I need for this game. I have a little bit of a long shot parlay where I do need Ohio State to win by 6 that I took way long ago, first round of the NFL playoffs. But as it stands today, guys, I just look at the schematics, and we're going to break this game down. Ohio State still is an 8.5-point favorite. The thing that did interest me and gave me caution is, no, I didn't do the cop-out, by the way, where I am a Notre Dame fan, and this would be the ultimate non-betting achievement in terms of fandom, if Ohio State was able to lose to Notre Dame and Notre Dame wins against this specific opponent. This would be very monumental for me personally. However, in terms of betting, I do separate the two. Ohio State's the best team in the country. Let's not get it twisted. If they play their best game beats Notre Dame's best game by 10 points. I have this number at 10.5. That's where I would have set it at. So if we do get the Buckeyes at 8.5, that is value. The really only storyline is, how much do you believe that Notre Dame is legit? Okay, I know they lost to Northern Illinois. If they were able to get this job done, this would be one of the most legendary college football seasons of all time, having the worst loss and the best loss arguably in school history, okay, in the same season. So that's where I stand. I'm going to talk about the schematics, like I said, and some betting tidbits that do set up pretty nicely. But I do want to share with you guys kind of my outside the box view of this game, okay? And this is where the money was moving. Now, like I said, I had this number set at 10.5. So if we did open this number, I expected the 8.5s to be gone. I expected this to go to 9.5, 10, 10.5. We've seen these 9.5s go down to 8.5s. There's going to be sharps on both sides. This is a big game. There's a lot of handle. It's going to be a huge decision for the books. But for me, guys, I was very, very intrigued by the fact that the number did not climb, that we're not seeing 9s, we're not seeing 10s, and this not closing at 10.5 or 11 is very dumbfounding to me, okay? So Notre Dame is taking a lot of sharp money, and that gives me a little bit of a pause because it is setting up for a kind of a eye-opener in my personal opinion, okay? Maybe a late game cover by the Buckeyes. Notre Dame keeps it close in the first half. Who knows, okay? But I am very intrigued by the way that the money is flowing in on the Irish this early on, okay? Now, I know this right here doesn't constitute it, right? You see the percentage of the handle, 66% of the handle on Ohio State, but that number has not moved, and it's actually moved in the opposite direction in a lot of books, okay? So we do have sharp plays to the under. 45.5 is that number that you can find out there if you want to look at kind of where this opened at, okay? This was opened at 46.5, so we have moved a little bit to the under. Not expecting much fluctuation with that, but it is very intriguing to me the way that this number has held true at 8.5, and it has not lowered one bit, okay? So who knows? Maybe the Irish shock the world and get this one done, but it is definitely intriguing to see that spread and the movement that we have seen from two teams, conversely, where if you look at the Irish, 12-2 ATS, they have won and covered basically in every game since losing to Northern Illinois. So Marcus Freeman, hats off. Great season, win or lose. The Irish go 14-2 or 15-1 would be absolutely fascinating. Okay, so let's get into some of the schematics and some of the betting conversation that we need to talk about. Okay, and this is a little bit longer video, but it is one that I want to talk about longer. So thank you for giving me a couple minutes of your time. Also, if you have not done so, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Thanks for tuning in on this Monday. All right. Now, when we talk about it, one betting kind of nugget that I do find value in is Riley Leonard of Notre Dame, okay? I've read some statistic. If he rushes for 30 yards or something, Notre Dame wins pretty much every single time. So if he gets it done with the ground, that's where this game gets interesting, okay? The one moment of concern, okay, schematically, is the fact that Notre Dame plays a lot of man coverage. They're down Benjamin Morrison, arguably the second-ranked cornerback in the draft. So, Jeremiah Smith was able to be kept in lockdown against Texas. We'll see if that continues. But teams that have played man coverage like Notre Dame does is, obviously the ones that Ohio State have dismantled. That's going to be Tennessee. That's going to be Oregon, all blowouts. The one kind of recipe that has done well is teams such as Penn State, Michigan, and Texas. Okay, they all played zone, and they all played zone well. Now, in the last game, we did see Emeka Egbuka have a incredible statistical performance, and I think that's going to be all the same. I think that Jeremiah Smith, say what you want about Notre Dame's young corners. They do play ball. Very highly ranked. If you want to look at like Pro Football Focus metrics and all that stuff, very high rankings. I know Jeremiah Smith is a monster amongst boys, but I think he's going to be a problem. But Notre Dame should be able to keep him in lock. That's going to be the big question mark of this game. Okay. If that does happen, don't sleep on Notre Dame's young corners. They're not your normal everyday fill-ins, right? These are legitimate NFL cornerbacks playing in their first season, so do not sleep on that. Second off, a couple things we have to talk about. Al Golden, okay? History with Ryan Day through that coaching tree. Up in the Northeast, I believe Ryan Day was a graduate assistant or a volunteer coach or offensive coordinator or something for a small school that Golden did teach at or coach at. So there is some familiarity. Also, we want to talk about familiarity. Jim Tressel has some ill will against the Buckeyes. You could say the same thing potentially about Urban Meyer. All these guys kind of have, Marcus Freeman was Jim Tressel's captain on that national championship Ohio State team. Okay. I think that there's a lot of people that are Buckeye roots that are pulling for Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame to win this game. You talk about even Gene Smith, the AD of Ohio State, being a Notre Dame graduate. Okay. Everything kind of has a little bit of a connection in this game. That's why it's setting up for a monumental matchup. The big question for me, though, is the injuries for the Irish. Okay. Everybody's hurt this time of year. We're 15 games in regular season, or 15 games into the season. Nobody's going to be healthy. But that Notre Dame defensive line, losing Riley Mills, that is something incredibly impactful. Talking to him, he's probably a point and a half to the number. One of the best defensive linemen in Notre Dame's history in terms of a career player. He's missing. It's going to be a big question mark. So if Notre Dame wants to win this game, they're going to have some players step up. They do have those players, but not in a depth way that Ohio State does, and that's going to be the big storyline for me. Ohio State's offensive line did not look all too impressive against Texas, in my opinion, either. If they're able to get to the quarterback, it does limit things on the outside. That's potentially where we could see even a dud game. That's kind of where I'm at, too. You're not going to beat Ohio State by Riley Leonard throwing for 70 yards like he did against Georgia. It's not going to happen. But for me, guys, I think Will Howard is the question mark. Is the stage too big? He's not a Buckeye. He's not from Ohio. He doesn't understand the Michigan rivalry, and you kind of saw that in that regular season finale. This might be just one of those games where he throws a couple picks, Notre Dame keeps us close, and they get the cover. That's kind of where I'm at. That's what's going to need to happen. They're going to have to win the turnover battle. They're going to have to play perfect on special teams, and they're going to have to run the football, not just from the running back position, but the quarterback position. So hopefully this little layoff that they got proved to be fruitful, and they do get some rest, some recovery for their injured players, and they've had enough time and insight from help for Notre Dame to scheme up this game in a way where, Al Golden arguably won a Super Bowl with the Bengals as a defensive coordinator. Say what you want, but that was one where they were one play call away from winning that football game. They gave the ball to P. Ryan, and that's not his fault. He did enough to keep that Rams offense in check, and this is a similar task. It's a game where they are underdogs, and he's going to have to win this game defensively. Okay, so that's kind of how I feel about it. I lean under. I like the movement that we've seen. This isn't a homer pick. Like I said, I have a lot of money on Ohio State, but I only need them by 2.5, and then we cash all our tickets, okay? So I won't have a bet outright, but if I did have to bet this game, there's two ways I see playing it. Notre Dame's going to cover the 8.5, or we potentially even overtime. Also, I do favor the fact that there is a very high likelihood that Ohio State just throws the ball at will and dominates, and this is a, 10 to 20 point blowout. So if you guys want to take alternate Ohio State lines, take like minus 19.5, minus 16.5. I don't hate that either. Okay. I am rooting for Notre Dame, but this is something where I win either way. I just don't think anyone's going to be able to stop the Buckeyes. Texas did give that recipe. I just don't think Notre Dame's equipped to play that style and brand of football. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a physical game. I think it just comes down to who turns the ball over less, who makes more plays in the red zone, and that's going to be your national champion. Okay, I just don't think right now Notre Dame has the health to get that one done. So if I did have to give out a bet, it would be taking the Buckeyes and the under in a teaser. I still like taking 8.5 down to 2.5. The reason why I don't like the fact that the number has not moved to 10. I would have had this number at 10.5. And for me, guys, I think that's why I'm not going to have an outright bet on the Buckeyes minus 8.5. They could cover this game. They could blow out the Irish. We've seen that before in the past, right? Notre Dame has always lost that big game. Marcus Freeman, though, has always won that big game since taking shop up in South Bend. And the one thing as a Notre Dame fan that I will tell you guys that you probably don't know, you look at the historical data. Every coach that has won a national championship, with the exception of Newt Rockne, in their third season, they've won a national championship. Brian Kelly in his third season played and lost. So there's a little bit of magic there under the Golden Dome in that third season for a Notre Dame head coach. So keep that in mind. Enjoy the game, but that's my bets. I'm not going to lay the 8.5 with Ohio State. If I did have to bet it and you forced me to bet it, I would. I don't love it because I just didn't see the line movement that I wanted to see to confirm that. There's no difference, in my opinion, between 8.5 and 9.5, but I did expect some action where this number does move up to 9.5 or even 10. We didn't get it. So if we get it, that might confirm some of my logic, and it might make me back the Buckeyes. But my best bet for this game would be taking the under with the Buckeyes in a teaser. Or if you just want to have fun and root for the underdog, not going to be mad at anybody taking plus 310 on Notre Dame, okay? It's a lot of points. Anything can happen in one game, and I think that's kind of where this is arguably a pass for me at 8.5. But I do want to talk about it because I do have a lot of action out on futures. Couple that with the minus 2.5 I need from the Buckeyes, and that's kind of where I stand today. So if you guys are watching this video and you want to know what I'm betting, those are my bets. I talked about them pretty much in extent, so forgive me. This is a big day, so I did talk a little longer than I wanted to, but thank you for all that did stick around, and also thank you for guys watching throughout the course of the regular season. Make sure you all have that notification bell turned on. Like this video, subscribe down below, because we will be back. College football will be back up and running before you know it, and enjoy the game, okay? Enjoy it. Should be one for the ages. Hopefully it's not a blowout. We get a good game, and go Irish.